Okay, so imagine this. It's a Sunday afternoon. You're on your couch. You're just scrolling through Facebook Marketplace.
We've all been there.
Exactly. You're not looking for anything life-changing. You're looking for, I don't know, a weird lamp, maybe some old video games.
Right, just something to scratch that nostalgia itch.
You find a listing. Looks good. You pay the $800. You think, great, deal's done. Then a box shows up. You open it, and you find out that buried under the games, there's a piece of paper that says, you didn't just buy Street Fighter.
You bought a town.
You bought a whole town.
And just to be super clear, we are not talking about, like, a digital plot of land in the metaverse. This isn't some ghost town with, tumbleweeds and a single rusted gas pump. We're talking about a living, breathing, fully functioning town.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Today, we are unpacking one of the most just truly absurd legal and cultural collisions I think I've ever come across. We're talking about the accidental sale of Verbena, Alabama.
And the sources we have here, I mean, they read like a fever dream. We've got court documents, environmental reports from Auburn, and some truly unhinged posts from the local community forums.
It is a story that just defies logic at every single turn. A transaction for Super Nintendo games ends up transferring the legal deed to 700 acres.
Land that's populated by 427 people.
It's this perfect storm of a 19th century clerical error, a box of what the seller literally called boring dead people stuff, and a very misguided conservation attempt.
So let's start with the deal. $800.
$800, that was the price. The buyer is a guy named Marcus Delgado. He's a 28-year-old barista from Pasadena.
And this is important. He is not a real estate mogul.
Not at all.
He's not some speculator. He's a gamer. His motives were pure.
Purely nostalgic.
Yeah.
He saw a listing for a box, and it was labeled Old Family Papers and Super Nintendo Games. He did not care about the papers.
No, not at all. The reason he dropped $800, which is a lot of money, is because he saw two specific cartridges in the photos.
Earthbound and Chrono Trigger.
The holy grails. For anyone who knows that market, that's a fair price for just those two games.
Exactly. So he thinks he's getting a deal on some rare games.
Meanwhile, on the other side of this, you have the seller, Jennifer Whitmore Patterson. She's in Cleveland just cleaning out her dad's old storage unit.
And this is where it gets incredible.
Yeah.
The listing title she used was Boring Dead People Stuff.
That's the official historical classification for an entire town's charter.
Right. And she's quoted saying, I thought I was being clear, they were worthless.
Apparently, one of the dead people owned a whole town, and I just gave it away for the price of a decent used Xbox.
I have to feel for her. So Marcus gets the box. And he says at first he just thought the papers were, packing material.
Sure, you just toss them aside.
He's digging for the games, but then he finds this really elaborate document. It has wax seals on it.
And his first thought is that it's a prop.
Yeah, from like a Renaissance fair or maybe a collector's edition of a game.
A totally reasonable assumption. You don't expect to find a valid deed to 700 acres of Alabama wrapped around a game cartridge.
But he shows it to his father and they realize, nope, this is real. It's a deed from 1889. So let's go back there. Who was the original owner?
This takes us right into the Gilded Age. The deeds dated February 14th, 1889. The original buyer was a Pittsburgh industrialist, a guy named Theodore Bradford Whitmore.
Okay, a Pittsburgh industrialist buying up land in the Deep South back then. That screams big plans.
Oh, he had a massive vision. He paid $12,000 for the land, which was a fortune. He wanted to build this huge resort community for wealthy Northerners.
And he called it
The Newport of Alabama.
Wow. That is bold. I'm not sure Alabama humidity quite matches a Rhode Island coastal breeze, but hey, I respect the ambition.
He was completely serious. But this is where the story takes a turn from grand development to just pure tragedy and absurdity. Whitmore died suddenly in November of that same year.
Just 9 months after buying the land.
And the cause of death is maybe the most specific, petty detail in this entire story.
I love this part.
He had a heart attack, reportedly while arguing with an architect about the correct shade of beige for the main lobby.
He died for beige.
He literally died on the hill of beige. His widow, Catherine, even called it his beige dream.
His beige dream unfulfilled. It's so Victorian.
And she was so heartbroken, or maybe just so over the beige argument, she couldn't bear to even visit the property, so the land was just forgotten.
For over a century.
Yeah.
And this is the part that's so hard to wrap your head around. The owners forget about it, but the land isn't empty.
Right. Life just happens. The town of Verbena grows right on top of this forgotten deed. People build homes, businesses, churches. They live there for generations thinking they own the land.
So fast forward to today. Marcus has this piece of paper. And my first thought, and probably yours, is adverse possession right. If you live somewhere long enough, doesn't it become yours?
That's the logical question. But we have the legal analysis here from Richard Torres, the attorney who authenticated this. And under Alabama law, because the title was never broken, never transferred from the Whitmore family,
The claim is valid.
the claim stands. The chain of title was just asleep for 130 years. Torres had this great quote. He said, "Mr. Delgado bought a town the same way you'd buy a used couch."
That's terrifying. It really is. So Marcus has the deed. He legally owns a town. Now, if I were a 28-year-old barista, maybe I'd think, cool, I'm the mayor now, or try to sell it back. But that's not what happened.
No. This is where the story goes from a quirky legal oddity to a real crisis. He shows the deed to his father, Dr. William Delgado.
And here comes the Save Our Owls Coalition.
Exactly. Dr. Delgado runs this Portland-based environmental group. And when he saw that deed, he didn't see a town. He didn't see homes or history. He saw a habitat.
They have a plan. It's called Hootenverse.
And the name alone sounds like a parody, but they are 100% serious.
So what is the grand vision for Hootenverse?
The plan is to transform all 700 acres into a spotted owl sanctuary. And to do that, they need to demolish every single building in town.
Every building.
Yeah.
Like the houses, the post office, everything.
Everything. Homes, churches, the grocery store, all gone. They want to keep only a quarter acre. And on that tiny plot, they plan to build one single artisanal coffee shop and poetry center.
Okay, so 427 people lose their homes for a coffee shop and some birds. And Marcus, the barista, he has some very specific ideas for this coffee shop. Right?
Oh, he does. This is his masterpiece. He's talking reclaimed barnwood, Edison bulbs, and a very strict no phones allowed policy.
Of course. A visionary coffee shop has to ban technology.
And the menu will have things like the Hoot and Holler cold brew and the spotted latte. But the real cultural centerpiece is the weekly open mic poetry night.
And the owls are the audience.
That is the idea. Marcus says he envisions the owls perching in the rafters, listening. He actually claims that since owls are intelligent, they will appreciate the verse.
I mean, I just...
Yeah.
Do we have any scientific basis for owls enjoying slam poetry?
The poetry is actually the least of the problems here, ecologically speaking. We have an analysis from Dr. James Richardson at Auburn University, and he basically says this plan is an environmental disaster waiting to happen.
Right. Because spotted owls. They're not from Alabama, are they?
Not even close. It's a massive habitat mismatch. Spotted owls are native to the old-growth forests of the Pacific Northwest.
So cool temperatures, huge trees.
Exactly. Nothing like the Alabama climate. Dr. Richardson literally compared it to putting polar bears in Miami. The humidity, the lack of their natural food sources, it would likely kill them.
But the Delgados must have a plan for that, right? What's their solution?
Their solution is to just hope they acclimate. It's pure idealism colliding with biology. They're in love with the idea of nature, not the reality of it.
It's like they see the owls as decorations. The owl goes here, the Edison bulb goes over there.
It's aesthetic conservation. It looks great on a Kickstarter page, but in the real world, it's catastrophic.
Okay, so let's shift to the town. How are the 427 residents of Verbena taking the news that they're being evicted for a sanctuary experience?
Not thrilled is maybe the understatement of the year. It's a mix of pure panic, rage, and some very creative conspiracy theories.
The mayor's quote was just incredible. He called it the stupidest thing I've heard in my entire life.
And he said that's a high bar. He mentioned a past incident involving a catfish hotel in the town water tower.
A catfish hotel.
I don't know and I don't want to know. But his point is that this owl plan is next level absurd, especially when he asked where the displaced residents should go.
What was Dr. Delgado's answer?
He suggested they just move to nearby towns like Clanton or Jemison. And as a consolation prize, he offered them a 10% discount at the coffee shop for the first year.
You're kidding.
I am not.
Sorry we bulldozed your house, but here's 50 cents off your latte.
The mayor's on-the-record response was, "I'm gonna lose my mind."
I don't blame him. But it's not just anger, right? People are trying to process this in different ways. We have to talk about Randy Pickett.
Oh, Randy Pickett. He has a very specific take. He believes the spotted owls are actually Chinese spies.
Spies. because they're being imported from Oregon.
Yes. He's connected Oregon's shipping ports to genetics labs in China, and he thinks that owls are coming to monitor a local burial mound. Apparently, he's updated his flowcharts to include dire poodles and Willie Nelson.
Dire poodles. You know what? Let's just move on. It just shows the level of chaos this has created.
Absolutely. And then you have the religious angle from Pastor Dale Hutchins. He calls this a demonic triple threat.
Okay, what are the 3 threats?
First, the owls themselves. Apparently, they're listed as unclean in the book of Leviticus.
Right.
Second, the poetry, which he believes opens portals.
Portals. To where?
Unspecified, but definitely not good places. And the third threat is the coffee.
What's wrong with coffee?
According to the pastor, coffee leads to jazz, music, and dancing.
It's a slippery slope. 1 cup of cold brew, and suddenly you're listening to Miles Davis.
He's planning to perform an exorcism on the actual deed, but amidst all the spies and the portals, you have people like Carolyn Hughes.
She's the 40-year resident.
Yes, and she just sounds exhausted. She listed everything the town has survived. Possum yoga, Jerry Clower's ghost doing karate, and she just said, this town has seen some shit, but this takes the cake.
Jerry Clower's ghost doing karate. Her quote just perfectly captures the disconnect. For the Delgados, this is a beautiful vision. For her, it's her life. And a barista can legally erase it.
That's the conflict, abstract ownership versus lived reality. Even the local deputy said he's equipped for catfish crimes, not eminent domain via Facebook Marketplace.
So what's happening now? Are the bulldozers on the way?
Not yet. A real resistance is forming. Jennifer Whitmore Patterson, the original seller, is trying to reverse the sale.
On what grounds?
She's arguing that since neither party knew what was really being sold, the contract should be void. She thought it was junk, he thought it was games.
She also said her beige-loving ancestor would be rolling in his grave, the beige one.
And meanwhile, the Delgados are pushing forward. They launched a Kickstarter.
To raise how much?
$8 million. It's called Give a Hoot. And if you donate, you can get a tote bag.
What does it say?
It says, I helped delete a town for birds.
Wow. They're not even hiding it. They're leaning into it, deleting a town.
They see it as a virtue. Marcus is quoted as saying he knows people are upset, but they're creating something beautiful, a place where humans and owls coexist through free verse.
And a court hearing is set.
March 15th, Chilton County Circuit Court. So we have a showdown on the horizon.
It's a town fighting for its life versus a father-son duo with an 1889 deed and a dream of poetry-loving owls.
And the Alabama legal system is stuck right in the middle. It has to decide if a Facebook sale can actually unravel a century of lived history.
It makes you think about what ownership even means. We assume because we live somewhere, it's ours. But it can all come down to a piece of paper in a box of old games.
It's the ultimate collision between the map and the territory, between a legal abstraction and the physical reality of 427 lives. What's a town really worth? Is it the paper deed or is it the community?
And it's all because of such random chance. If Marcus had wanted a Sega Genesis, none of this happens.
Or if Theodore Whitmore had just picked a shade of beige and moved on with his life back in 1889.
A man argues about beige, and 130 years later, a town is fighting for its existence against a bird cafe.
The past isn't dead. Sometimes it's just in a storage unit in Cleveland.
Well, that's about all the time we have. It's a story that starts out funny and ends up asking some really heavy questions about home, history, and what it means to own the ground under your feet.
And it's a good reminder to always check the packing material.
Definitely. And maybe check your own attic. Before we go, here's a thought to leave you with. If the Delgados win, if the town is demolished, is Verbena just gone forever? Or does its history somehow live on in that 1/4 acre, haunting the poetry readings at the Hootenverse?
That's a spooky thought.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll catch you on the next deep dive. Stay curious.
And check your deeds.